Hello there. Welcome to Just the Discs. My name's Brian. We talk about Blu-rays here. And today I want to talk about OrbitDVD. I may have mentioned them on the channel before. I can't remember. But I'm a big Diabolic DVD person. Like, I do most of my boutique label ordering from them. Some imports, but imports are a little tough because they come in and out of stock, and I'm a very impetuous, impatient person. So if I can find an import in stock somewhere else, occasionally I'll go away from Diabolic DVD. But Orbit is a real life brick and mortar store, but they also run a website, and they have a real cool emphasis on imports. And so I get tempted by, they have a 3-item free shipping thing that you can do, and it's I want to say it's like a minimum $10 purchase. It's not a lot of money. Like, you can get a lot for anything you want for that 3-item purchase for free shipping. So often when I want to get one thing, I end up getting 3 things, and sometimes more. So I just end up scrolling their site constantly to see what they have in stock. I don't think they do pre-orders just yet, which is obviously one of the big advantages of Diabolic DVD, but they may do that at some point. So anyway, I got some pickups here, some stuff I bought in the last month. I think this is 2 orders worth of stuff. I haven't watched much of it yet, but there were just some things I was tempted by that I had to snag. And so I'm just going to go through what I picked up. I will start with this German import of the Val Lewton production of I Walked with a Zombie, directed by the great Jacques Tourneur. And this is an all-region disc. This will play on any player. Comes with a booklet. Everything's in German, unfortunately, but it has a little booklet and everything. And this nice slipcase. And it has a commentary, and I feel like there's at least one other feature on it that's kind of cool and exclusive to this disc. I'm pretty stupid for buying this, I think, because obviously all of us have been watching as initially Scream Factory and then Warner Archive, has been cranking out, not so much lately cranking, but at one point was cranking out Val Lewton features on Blu-ray. And I Walked with a Zombie is one of the final holdouts, along with the Seventh Victim. I feel like there's maybe one more. I feel like Bedlam's come out. I feel like there's maybe one more that I can't think of right now. But I Walk with a Zombie and Seventh Victim are 2 of my favorites, and so I get impatient when it comes to these films, and I also don't know what the holdup is. I'm hoping that the elements are such that, especially I Walked with a Zombie, that's a big one. Of the Val Lewton films, I want to say that's one of the most known and notorious from that group. So I'm hoping that there's some work being done. I don't have any insights. Maybe my buying of this Blu-ray will have triggered the release of that film. I hope so. I also hope the Seventh Victim comes out. It'd be great to get a double disc set of I Walk with a Zombie and Seventh Victim, 2 of the best of these Lewton-produced horror films from the 30s and 40s, or 40s, just 40s. Anyway, so I was feeling like watching this again. I was going to go to my DVD, but I decided to snag this instead because I didn't even know it existed until I found it, I think, in the employee picks section at OrbitDVD. They actually have an employee picks or staff picks section, which is cool. There's like a bunch of folks there and all have different tastes, and the picks are a pretty neat place to find interesting stuff that I didn't know was available. Some of it has been out for a long time, so I think this has been out for a minute. I will say I put in the Blu-ray. It looks good. The print is definitely not totally cleaned up. There's definitely some scratches and things like that. It has some texture to it in that way. It's brighter than I believe the DVD. It's, in that sense, the blacks may not be as black as the DVD, but overall detail is definitely better in this Blu-ray. So it looks pretty good. So I'm not dissatisfied with the purchase. I just know that if Warner Archive does it through Warner Motion Picture Imaging, it's going to look spectacular. So for now, this will do, I guess. So that's my first pickup. Next, I picked up The Ladies' Man, the Jerry Lewis film from 1960. Oh boy, I want to say like 65 or something like that. Yeah, Umbrella's doing some cool stuff, I gotta say. You know, they got that Megaforce 61. I'm sorry, it's from 61. That Megaforce Blu-ray set. I already have a Japanese import of Megaforce, but I gotta get their version of it. I do think if you're a Jerry Lewis fan, this is an absolute must. I think it's one of the great sophomore efforts. It's one of the great second films. He followed up The Bellboy with this. Nutty Professor would come later. And he plays Herbert H. Hebert, who is a very nerdy college graduate who is about to get married, and he finds his girlfriend's cheating on him, and it scars him psychologically to the point that he can't be near women. And so he goes to the big city and is trying to find a job, and ends up sort of inadvertently getting a job in a place where he will definitely be reminded of women, because it's like a house where a bunch of women live. It's like this giant mansion, and a bunch of women share the place. They all live there together, and it's an incredible set. It's like a giant dollhouse kind of set that was built on a sound stage. I want to say it took like 8 months to build. It cost like $975,000 in 1961 or whatever. It took up 2 whole sound stages. And it's really cool because they built microphones into the ceilings, and Jerry had a special crane built so that he could get in all the nooks and crannies of the set. But it is like looking at a giant dollhouse when it pulls out to the wide shots. But there's just great Jerry silliness, sight gags, different, the kind of jokes you're used to from him, but it's some of his better stuff. But it's just observing activities in the house, him being silly. There's a Jacques Tati vibe to it. If you're into Jacques Tati, you'll totally dig it. Very episodic in a way, but a movie that I very much enjoy. One of my favorites of his. And this has a new audio commentary with Jerry Lewis film buff Paul Harris and Alan Finney. The 2000 audio commentary with Jerry Lewis and Steve Lawrence from the DVD. Deleted scenes, outtakes, public service announcement, construction of the set, dance rehearsal, auditions, Jerry Lewis, The Art of Clowning featurette, Dean and Jerry featurette with Gregory Monroe, director of The Man Behind the Clown, new Jerry Lewis trailer collection. Anyway, I'm very excited to check this out. I don't know about the transfer, but this is a very colorful film, and I'm sure this Blu-ray is going to look nice. But I had to get it when it became available. Paramount hasn't put it out themselves yet. Maybe they will. Maybe they'll do some kind of bigger Jerry Lewis set. I don't know. But I had to get that. Next up, we have Subway. This is a cult item from Luc Besson, one that I haven't seen in years. I want to say this Ladies' Man is going to be all region. I don't see anything on the back, whereas this is a region B locked disc from Optimum releasing. It's his second feature after The Last Battle. It's a stylish urban odyssey which helped to consolidate Luc Besson's growing reputation for unique visually creative output. Of course, Christopher Lambert and Isabella Gianni and his lightsaber-looking lights. Fred Lambert, a charismatic safe blower, realizes he is in love with a rich society girl, Helena, played by Johnny, when he is in the midst of trying to blackmail her. To complicate matters, he is also on the run from gangsters and the police and is forced to take up refuge in the tunnels of the Paris Metro. I've heard this is kind of a Breathless kind of take, like a little bit along the lines of Breathless. Here in the brutal and surreal world beneath the city, a strange collection of petty criminals and people with reason to hide exist. Gradually, Fred's life begins to interweave with theirs. Rediscovering their forgotten dreams, he decides to form a band. However, Fred cannot forget Helena and becomes determined both to win her love and to drive his band to success with the police and gangsters all in hot pursuit. So it's a weird cult item. You can just tell from that. Even if there is some Breathless in there, there's also some other stuff in here. I just remember being an interesting, group of characters living underground, and I haven't seen it since VHS years and years ago. So it was cheap. It was like $13 or $14, I want to say. So I was like, yeah, sure, why not? Luc Besson's Subway? Sure. Then I picked up The Shout, Jerzy Skolimowski's film. This is a favorite of my pal Elric Kane's. And it's one of these that I actually, when I was thinking about it, I'm like, I think I've seen this. But then reading about it and hearing Elric talk about it, I may have fooled myself. Now, maybe I don't know if I have seen it. I definitely know of it, or I've seen part of it. I don't know. But Oscar nominee Alan Bates turns in one of his most forceful performances as an asylum inmate with supernatural powers in a film that is both highly unsettling and deeply compelling. A perfect companion piece to Nicholas Roeg's 70s masterpiece Don't Look Now, also featuring strong performances from Susanna York and John Hurt, and employing a distinctive narrative style employed by Palme d'Or nominated director Jerzy Skolimowski. The Shout is presented here in a brand new high-definition transfer made from the original film elements in its as-exhibited theatrical aspect ratio. During a cricket match, an insane asylum between the inmates and the local villagers, Crossley and Graves keep themselves entertained by telling stories. Crossley tells of how he came to possess supernatural powers, enabling him to kill with a single shout, and although his companion dismisses the tale as an insane fantasy, as the match continues, proceedings take a sinister turn. So definitely looking to revisit or see for the first time if I've seen it. And this is going to be nice because it's got a new transfer, and it's from ITV Studios, and it's from Network. They do a good job. Exclusive interview with producer Jerry Thomas, audio commentary with horror film expert Kim Newman and Stephen Jones. Another reason I picked this up. I love those guys. I love their commentaries, and I can't wait to hear what they have to say. And the booklet by Kim Newman and Dr. Karen Otten as well. So this was another cheap one, $13 or $14, I think. Next up, some British thriller horror with The Appointment from the BFI. This is also Region B locked, as is this. So you're definitely going to want a region-free player if you start shopping with any regularity at Orbit, because there's a lot of Region B lock stuff there that you're going to be tempted by. So anyway, this is one I definitely have not seen, but it has a great reputation. An evil, enigmatic power throws a family into turmoil in Lindsay Wicker's much sought-after cult horror. When suburban father Ian, Edward Woodward from The Wicker Man and The Equalizer, is unable to attend his daughter's violin recital, he and his wife Diana Jane Morrow are troubled by prophetic nightmares that seem to foresee a looming tragedy after the dark forces about to be unleashed upon their comfortable life? ? An unsettling journey into the world of supernatural, guaranteed to give you sleepless nights. Long lost chiller, The Appointment, is at last available on BFI Flipside, sourced from the best materials yet discovered. So whatever it looks like, it will be the best it's looked. Oh, that's interesting. Presented on Blu-ray in standard definition. I didn't read that. Newly recorded audio commentary by director Lindsay Vickers. Vickers on Vickers, 2021, 41-minute. Director looks back on his life and career. Another outing, 2021, 16 minutes. Jane Morrow recalls co-starring in the film. Appointment shared, 2022, 7 minutes. Lindsay and Jan Vickers remember the making of the haunted film. Framing the Appointment, 19 minutes. Lindsay Vickers recalls, sorry, I'm getting my reading here confused. Assistant director making the film. Remembering the Appointment, 2022, 10 minutes. Assistant director Gregory Dark shares his recollections. The Lake, 1978, 33 minutes. Lindsay Vickers' eerie short finds young lovers choosing to picnic in a spot haunted by echoes of a violent event. Newly recorded audio commentary on The Lake by Lindsay Vickers. And Splashing Around, 2020, 18 minutes. Julie Peasgood on Making the Lake. So a lot of stuff here. Still very curious about this presented in standard definition. I have to see how that looks. But obviously this is a film that is rare and is not going to probably get a great release based on what it sounds like materials are available. So happy to get that anyway. One more British horror here with the Asphyx. Another that I know has a good reputation. This is from Kino Lorber and Redemption Films. Blending elements of gothic horror with the more contemporary ingredients of steampunk, the Asphyx has emerged from obscurity to become a cult favorite of the sci-fi fantasy genre. Utilizing an experimental photographic device, a scientist, Robert Stevens, captures what appears to be the image of the Asphyx, an ancient Greek spirit of the dead. With the help of his adopted son, Robert Powell, he conducts further experiments and conceives a way to harness the Asphyx and thereby gain immortality. But as every visionary scientist should know, defying the laws of the natural and spiritual world unleashes dreadful consequences. Of course it does. So mastered in HD from 35mm negative, standard UK release version as well, and an extended US version. So they're 86 versus 98 minutes. Directed by Peter Newbrook. So not a ton of features there, but this one wasn't that expensive either. But heard good things about this, have not seen it, and excited to check it out. That's the Asphyx. And then last but not least, Human Lanterns from 88 Films, part of their Shaw Brothers collections. And this one I just have heard cool things about. I've seen some other YouTube channels talking about this movie. There is definitely a reputation going around about this one being fun, and so I couldn't resist snagging this. I got to get the Seventh Curse. That's the one that's out of print and super hard to get now, and I missed it, and now I'm super bummed. But anyway, amidst a long-held rivalry between two distinguished gentlemen is an unbalanced and aggravated craftsman of lanterns who seeks bloody retribution. Featuring the Shaw Brothers' custom brand of martial arts mayhem, Human Lanterns also taps into the craze of the American slasher film and the early Hammer horror films by providing a grisly take on the serial killer featured in an inimitable Hong Kong style. It just sounds off the wall, kind of bonkers, and definitely looks like a fun movie. So anyway, that is Human Lanterns, and some nice features. It looks like booklet notes by Barry Forshaw, poster. Audio commentary by Kenneth Brosnan and Phil Gillen of the Podcast of Fire Network. A Shaw story, an interview with Susan Shaw by Frederick Amberzine. The Beauty and the Beast, an interview with Linda Chu by Arnaud Lanuc. Let's see here. Ambiguous Hero by Arnaud Lanuc. So yeah, some features included here, and like I said, just look like fun, look like something interesting to grab. They had it in stock. Anyway, so definitely if you are looking for some place to go for imports, OrbitDVD is always great. I do recommend them first and foremost, but OrbitDVD.com is a good place to just, if nothing else, get a sense of what's out there. Like there's some of these titles that I didn't even know were available, and others that were not in stock elsewhere that I found in stock at Orbit. So if your focus is imports, I mean, they have more than that, but they're definitely really filled in terms of the cult and the big labels, the boutiques that we all love, the 88 Films, the Severins, the Arrows, all that stuff. They're definitely fully stocked with that kind of thing. but they also have a lot of imports, and I do recommend checking them out for that purpose. So anyway, I'll leave a link to them below in the comments, in the description. But definitely give them a peek if you're like me. Some nights you can't sleep. You just start scrolling their what's in stock by label, by employee picks or whatever, and you can lose yourself for a good hour or two for sure. So anyway, thank you for watching. Thank you for listening, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.